now time for the Saturday night at the movies. For the next few hours, we will be screening a few of the films that were submitted to Sikhlens Films and Art Festival this year. The pandemic had a significant impact on the film industry this year. So unfortunately, we didn't receive as many submissions as we usually do. For your viewing pleasure, this weekend, we have supplemented the new submissions with some Sikhlens classics. If you don't have time to view them all night, they will remain on our Sikhlens YouTube throughout the festival. In the short animated film Cha, Bibi is plagued by memories of the past, and her granddaughter Simran is starting to notice. In resolving to teach Simran how to make cha, they are pulled into the past to Bibi's memories of one fateful day in Delhi, 1984.
Grandma? What was that about? Oh, you're making cha. Here, let me.
I can do it. Besides, Simran, do you even know how to make cha?
Grandma! You could teach me.
Stop this nonsense.
Please. I want to learn. What's this? This is cardamom, right? Grandma?
Stop it, Simran.
I was only trying to help.
Simran, let me show you. Delhi, 1984. I remember the smells, the sounds, everyone in the street, everyone together.
Who's that?
That's my son, Aman.
And that's...
My husband. We were bringing the children home from school. People were talking. We knew there would be riots, but we thought we were safe. We never thought they would come for us. We were being hunted. They were killing Sikhs. They went from house to house, leaving only fire and blood behind. Women did not escape their eyes, their hands. We were ravaged, destroyed. Kill the Sardars, they shouted. Not one should be left alive. मैं तैनू पुत दे कर्ज तो रिहा करदी हां। तेरा हुण वाहेगुरु रखा, ओ ही तैनू बख्शू।
In One World, One Hope, Guru Arjan Dev Ji's universal message of oneness is presented. In this period of COVID-19, the world has been hit with one of the greatest crises of our time, a crisis that has pushed aside differences and helped us realize that humanity is connected. In a musical and spiritual representation of our journey, we rise together through this pandemic as one global human family.
May this pandemic awaken us to the truth. We are one global human family. May we be brave in our grief. Let our tears flow, tend to each other's wounds, and begin to reimagine a world where no person is disposable and we see no stranger. For this, we lift our voices in one song to the divine within us and all around us, and rise together. A universal prayer by the fifth Guru of the Sikhs, Sabe ji Samal Apni Meher Kar.
अपनी मेहर कर, अपनी मेहर कर, अपनी मेहर कर, अपनी मेहर कर, सबे जी समाल, सबे जी समाल। मेहर कर अपनी मेहर कर अनपाड़ी मुझ पाए दुख दालद पन तर दुख दालद पन तर अपनी मेहर कर अपनी मेहर कर अरदास सुनी दातार अरदास सुनी दातार होई शिष्ट ठर होई शिष्ट ठर अपनी मेहर कर अपनी मेहर कर ले वो कंठ लगाए ले वो कंठ लगाए अपदा सब हर अपदा सब हर अपनी मेहर कर अपनी मेहर कर नानक नाम ते आए नानक नाम ते आए प्रभ का सफल कर प्रभ का सफल कर प्रभ का सफल कर प्रभ का सफल कर अपनी मेहर कर अपनी मेहर कर सबे जी संभाल अपनी मेहर कर अपनी मेहर कर अपनी मेहर अपनी
In Shades of Indigo, Sam Dhaliwal is a Sikh farmer who migrated to America in 1976. Starting with just 10 acres of land and overcoming white supremacist attacks, Sam today owns over 400 acres of farmland in Bellingham, Washington. However, this isn't just an immigration story. The passion that the entire Dhaliwal family has towards agriculture can be seen in every step of their journey. Sam's son, Rob Dhaliwal, continues to be involved in the farm operation after receiving a degree in horticulture. With Sam's experience and grit, coupled with Rob's academic approach and technological awareness, the Dhaliwals today have broadened into verticals of processing and packaging their harvest.
मेरा पिछे पिंड रामा डिस्ट्रिक्ट मोगा ते मेरी वाइफ ते मैं ते बेटा बड़ा धर्मिंदर असीं तिन्ने 1973 ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਪਹੁੰਚੇ। ਮੇਰਾ ਨਾਮ ਸ਼ਮਸ਼ੇਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਧਾਲੀਵਾਲ ਔਰ ਮੈਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਵੀ ਮੇਰੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਆਉਣਾ ਸੀ ਇੰਟਰਵਿਊ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਉਹਨੇ ਅਫਸਰ ਨੇ ਆਫਿਸਰ ਨੇ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਸੀ ਵੀ ਕੀ ਕਰੇਗਾ ਤੂੰ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਵੀ ਤੇਰਾ ਕੋਈ ਐਕਸਪੀਰੀਅੰਸ ਮੇਰਾ ਕੋਈ ਐਕਸਪੀਰੀਅੰਸ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਟਰੈਕਟਰ ਚਲਾਉਣਾ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਅਤੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਐਗਰੀਕਲਚਰ ਬਾਰੇ ਪਤਾ ਅਤੇ ਵੀ ਇਹੀ ਕੁਛ ਮੈਂ ਕਰੂੰਗਾ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਇਹ ਮੇਰੀ ਪਿਛਲੀ ਬੈਕਗਰਾਊਂਡ ਆ। छे साल का जो फादर की डेथ हो गई। बाकी रिस्पोंसिबिलिटियाँ मेरे जंग एज दे विच ही काफ़ी पै गई। फिर मैं हाई स्कूल तो अगे पढ़ नहीं सकिया। पहला मेरा विचार मैं बहुता मेरा इंटरस्ट नहीं सी आउंदा इत्थे, करेज नहीं सी, मैं घरे सौखा सीगा ते पर मेरी मदर का ये सीगा भी ये बाहर चला जाए। 1976 ते फिर एबसफोर्ड फैमिली सीगी MD जी बदर महेंद्र सिंह गिल, उन्होंने मैनू सजैसट किया। उन्होंने मैनू लिया के कहा भी तेन उत्थे एबसफोर्ड लै चलना, फार्म लैके देना। मैं एबसफोर्ड मूव हो गया सी। उन्होंने मैनू 10 एकड़ वो घर सी, एक ट्रैक्टर सीगा वो लैके दिते। राव ऑलरेडी इन्हें मतलब टेक ओवर कर लिया। मैं फुली रिटायर हो गया। बड़ा बेटा उन्हें CA की सी, ਉਹਦਾ कोई इंटरस्ट नहीं सी बहुत फार्म के। उन्हें कहा भी जो उदों बाद मैं फिर ध्यान दिता, मैं उन्हें पूछा भी राव तेरा एग्रीकल्चर बारे की ख्याल आ। तो फिर मैनू ये कहना भी पापा मैं की करना तू, ये कहना मैं आर्कीटैक्चर करनी है।
No, I didn't inherit anything. You know, obviously my father's helped me along, but he created a business. I bought into the business. He owns a larger percentage, and I rent it back from him at this point. I was actually going to go to college for architecture. Came back home the first summer and realized that wasn't going to work for me. Understanding that I was going to spend a lot of time in an office space, indoors, before I could actually do something that could be creative, and, you know, got a degree in horticulture and came back to the farm.
Whatcom County is a first county on the Canadian-US border. This region is known for a very fertile land because of the foothills of Mount Baker. Berries were picked by hand and they had a very short season, so people always had small farms. Late 80s and early 90s, when the berry picking machines came in, and now it's easy to see 40, 80 acre, 200 acre berry farms in this region.
Between the berry farmers, blueberries and raspberries, possibly close to 60% are Sikh Punjabi farmers. That's what Punjab is known for. I mean, you know, it's got some of the most fertile soils in the world. You know, with Whatcom County and Punjab, climate-wise, there's not a lot of similarities, but I think it's just the farming aspect that's inherent in us Punjabi Sikhs. That's just a part of the culture. 80% of processed red raspberries in the United States are grown in Whatcom County. They're just picked at the peak of ripeness, and if they were picked any earlier, they wouldn't have the flavor. And so it's kind of a microclimate, and we have great soils, well-drained soils. It just helps for fruit development.
ਉਹ ਇਹੀ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੰਟਰੋਲ ਨਾਲ ਚੱਲੋ ਜੇ ਹੁਣ ਮੈਂ ਇਸ ਗੱਲ ਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਲਾਈਕ ਕਰਦਾ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹੋਰ ਐਕਸਪੈਂਡ ਕਰੀ ਜਾਓ ਟੂ ਮੱਚ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਿ ਆਊਟ ਆਫ ਕੰਟਰੋਲ ਹੋ ਜੇ ਪਰ ਆਹ ਹੁਣ 5 ਕਰੇ 50 ਕਰੇ ਹਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਤੋਂ ਪੁੱਛਦਾ ਹਰੇਕ ਗੱਲ ਪੁੱਛ ਲੈਂਦਾ ਮੈਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਦੱਸ ਦਿੰਦਾ ਅਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਵੀ ਗੱਲ ਤੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਤੋਂ ਐਡਵਾਈਸ ਪੁੱਛਦਾ
What I would describe back then is, you know, my dad just farmed. There wasn't that much regulatory, environmental aspect taken into consideration. Climate change, it's constant. I mean, it's been here forever. And it's just always going to be a struggle. The only thing we have control over is what we do to tend the fields and how to maintain them and how to manage them. We have to make sure that we're doing everything we can to preserve the ground we're growing these plants on, because if the weather continues to change the way it is, food could become scarce.
We are seeing a change in the climate. The weather is much hotter than what was, say, 25, 30 years ago. There's more water scarcity in this region now. The blueberries and raspberries are very weather dependent. It rains at different times than before, and it deteriorates the crop. It can affect the yield. But climate is going to impact, and we don't know how we will handle that.
ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਹਾਰਵੈਸਟ ਟਾਈਮ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ 120 ਪੀਪਲ ਪ੍ਰੋਸੈਸਿੰਗ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮਸ਼ੀਨਾਂ ਤੇ ਟਰੱਕਾਂ ਤੇ ਅਬਾਊਟ 110 to 120 ਪੀਪਲ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਿਸਪੈਨਿਕ US ਅਮਰੀਕਨ ਲੋਕ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਵੀ ਸਿਟੀਜ਼ਨ ਤੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਮੈਕਸ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਵੀ ਹੈਗੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਕੁਝ ਬੰਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਜਿਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ 20 ਸਾਲ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਮੈਂਬਰਾਂ ਵਾਂਗੂ
I came from Michoacán, Mexico, and in the year 1997. Me gusta estar en el farm que es del campo, porque tiene del campo, hace la fruta y no sé. Y aquí trabajé hace como 20, 21 años en el campo. Podábamos la raspberry y empezó a seguir y me empezó a apasionar más y ahora es lo que más me gusta.
So right now we're in the middle of blueberry harvest, and so we're freezing blueberries on a daily basis as well as harvesting them every day. You know, we'll start harvesting usually around between 8 and 9, depending on the day. We have several employees that will help get the crews together and make sure all the harvesters have all the crates on them and everything's ready to go. And then, you know, harvest starts.
Pero en el tiempo de cosecha las traen, va la máquina primero, la piscadora que va golpeando las plantas así y caen abajo en unos como disquitos que va la máquina y se van abriendo, va cayendo abajo y luego pasan unas canastitas que la llevan a otra banda arriba, otra chiquita que la saca hacia afuera donde está esperando la caja que las va a parar y de aquí la meten al refrigerador para que esté fresca. Hacemos unos exámenes de limpieza todos los días en las bandas donde va a venir la fruta para prevenir que no haya infecciones o nada de eso que vaya. Ya el que maneja el forklift la arrima a los que la van a poner a la línea y pasa por donde está un ventilador que avienta toda la basura hacia afuera a un lado y de ahí cae a otra que es donde está, es el tanque del agua, donde se lava. Allá cae en la máquina que es una computadora sorteadora que le saca las verdes, las rojas, o la que está quebrada o enlamada, la que está como pasa, y ya cae a otra banda que está atravesada, que es son como canastitas que las lleva a la grande banda arriba, donde está la entrada para entrar en el túnel donde la va a congelar. Después de entre 5 y 7 minutos sale en la otra orilla, al final del congelamiento. Entonces ya cuando todo está bien se baja y sigue al final donde está un muchacho que las está estaqueando en una paleta y cuando está lista de ahí la sacan, la suben al tráiler para que no se descongelen. Ya de ahí se las llevan a donde vayan a ir, a storage o a venderlas.
ਤੇ 20 ਸਾਲ ਮੇਰੀ 16 ਆਵਰ ਐਵਰੇਜ ਰਹੀ ਆ ਟਾਈਮ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਘਰੇ ਤਾਂ ਆ ਕੇ ਸੀ ਵੀ ਰੈਸਟ ਜਿੰਨੀ ਹੋ ਜਾਵੇ ਰਾਤ ਨੂੰ ਪੈ ਗਏ ਸਵੇਰੇ ਉੱਠ ਖੜੇ ਚੱਲ ਸੋਚਾ
ਕੰਮ 'ਚ ਹੀ ਇੱਥੇ ਉਮਰ ਸਾਰੀ ਨਿਕਲ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਆ ਹੰਸ ਕੰਮ ਹੀ ਕੰਮ ਕੰਮ ਹੀ ਕੰਮ ਤੋਂ ਬਿਨਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਸਰਦਾ ਵੀ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂ ਨਾ ਇੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਗੱਲ ਆ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਨਾ ਤੇ ਖਾਣਾ ਕੇਂਦਰੀ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਵਜੇ ਬੰਦ ਕਰ ਦੇਣੀ ਵੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ
ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਖਿਆਲ ਜੋ ਰਿਕਾ ਮੁੱਕ ਗਈ ਅੱਜ ਵਾਲੀ ਉਦੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਕਰਨਗੇ
ਅੱਜ ਤੇ ਚਲਾਈ ਵੀ ਮੇਰਾ ਖਿਆਲ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਆ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ
Past 25 days. So we're just right now towards the maybe past 50% on blueberry harvest. Before that, we were harvesting raspberries. It's very chaotic, you know, there's no time for anything, let alone, you know, I'm lucky I get to go home and have dinner or lunch with the kids occasionally. They're either asleep when I get, you know, leave the house or they're asleep when I get home. So, you know, that's always kind of a challenge. You know, you have to wonder if you're doing the right thing.
Sikhs came to this region in early 1900s. People could come from India to Canada because it was part of the Dominion. There were a lot of large lumber mills, and they came and got jobs, and there were about 350 Sikhs living in Bellingham. Then there was a resentment with the local population. or they are taking away our jobs. There's a large wave of them coming, and they're not compatible with us. This resentment led to Bellingham riots of 1907. They rounded up all the people, they roughed them up. Most of the people either left Vancouver or they went to San Francisco. And all the way up to 1950s, Bellingham became a KKK town. And there was no place for colored people in this town for longest time.
The American dream, I mean, that's why my parents came. Just seeing them and understanding what they went through to provide this better life for us, it just makes us appreciate that the freedom we have in this country and what we have the ability to accomplish.
I think the immigrants who came from India brought their culture with them. Their tradition, folklore. Sam is unique in that way too, because he kept his culture with him. He taught his kids that same culture, and now he has grandkids, and they are following the culture from their grandfather.
You know, the kids are, we actually lived in city limits before, but the last few years they are starting to see more of what it takes to produce this. Priya was 14, Nishan is 12. Yes, it would be nice to see them come back to the farm. It's not something I would want to force upon them. They're still young. They got a lot of time and a lot of decisions to make. So, and it's been a good experience for them. They got a lot of room to play and run around and do things that they didn't have. I wanted them to enjoy the experience that I had growing up. So, just being free, being patient and understanding, and even with plants. I mean, some people like to say plants are like people. I mean, they have feelings. I know they don't have feelings, but it's how you treat them. If you don't nurture them, you're not gonna have a good crop. If you don't take care of them, and you hope the same thing with your kids. You nurture your kids, you tell them everything you can, and guide them in the right direction, and hopefully, they benefit from it.
ਹੈ ਆਪਾਂ ਕੀ ਮਿੱਟੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਹੀ ਆਏ ਆ, ਮਿੱਟੀ 'ਚ ਫਿਰ ਬਣ ਜਾਣਾ ਬੈਕ। ਇਨਸਾਨ ਨੂੰ ਇੰਨਾ ਹੰਕਾਰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਹ ਤੋਂ ਬਚਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ। ਧਰਮ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਇਹੀ ਸਿਖਾਉਂਦਾ।
We're all just here, making it be. We all have our different path. It's just be happy while you're here, man.
ਬਾਕੀ ਸਾਡੀ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਬੈਕਗਰਾਉਂਡ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ ਹੈ, ਸਾਡੇ ਪਿਓ ਦਾਦਿਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਪਿੱਛੋਂ ਖਾਨਦਾਨੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਡੀ ਲਿਵਿੰਗ ਹੀ ਐਗਰੀਕਲਚਰ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਸੀਗੀ, ਉਹਦਾ ਵੀ ਸੀਗਾ। ਸੋ ਇਸ ਕੰਮ 'ਚ ਪੈ ਗਏ। ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਸ਼ੌਕ ਇਹਦਾ ਹੀ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਵੀ ਹੁਣ ਇਹ ਕਿਸੇ ਸਟੇਜ 'ਤੇ ਪਹੁੰਚਣਾ। ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਉੱਚੀ ਅਤੇ ਸੁੱਚੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਫਾਰਮ ਦਾ। ਇਸੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਅਮਰੀਕਨ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਫਾਰਮਰ ਦੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਰਿਸਪੈਕਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, ਜਿੰਨੇ ਅਮਰੀਕਨ US ਜਿੰਨੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਆਲ ਓਵਰ ਐਕਚੁਅਲੀ ਸਾਰੇ ਲੋਕ ਹੀ ਇਸੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਰਿਸਪੈਕਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਦੋ ਓਨੈਸਟ ਅਤੇ ਵਧੀਆ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੋਈ। ਪਰ ਇਹ ਫਿਰ ਮੇਰਾ ਹੁਣ ਜਾਣੀ ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਕਹਿ ਲਓ ਵੀ ਮੇਰਾ ਰੀਅਲੀ ਬਣ ਗਈ ਗੱਲ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਹਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਹੁਣ ਜੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਕਹੇ ਵੀ ਫਾਰਮ ਤੋਂ ਬਿਨਾਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਔਖਾ ਰਹਿਣਾ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜਮਾਂ ਫੁੱਲੀ ਰਿਟਾਇਰ ਹੋਵਾਂ ਜਾਂ ਕੁਛ ਹੋਵਾਂ ਕਿਤੇ ਵੀ ਆ, ਪਰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਸਕੂਨ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਤੇ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਕਿਸੇ ਸਟੇਟ ਜਾਣਾ, ਜੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੀ ਚੰਗੀ ਐਗਰੀਕਲਚਰ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਕਢਾ ਕੇ ਵਾਹੀਕਲ ਅਤੇ ਮੇਰਾ ਦਿਲ ਕਰਦਾ ਵੀ ਹਾਂ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਦੋ ਕੁੜੀਆਂ ਵਾਕਈ ਕਿਸੇ ਦਾ ਕੰਮ ਕੀਤਾ ਵਾ ਦੱਸਦਾ।
Knitted Leaves is a tapestry of harmony in Narayanpura, a neighborhood in Karachi, where Hindus, Muslims, Christians, and Sikhs live together in one of the largest multi-ethnic communities in Pakistan.
जहनों में एक बना हुआ है कि भी मेरा धर्म ऊंचा है, मेरा धर्म नीचा है, मेरी ज़ात ऊंची, मेरी ज़ात नीची है। एक नूर से सारी कायनात बनी है। हिंदू, मुस्लिम, सिख, ईसाई, जितनी भी खलकत है कायनात जो हम देख रहे हैं, ये उस एक परमात्मा, इस गॉड, एक अल्लाह, एक वाहिगुरु ने बनाई है।
हमारे हालांकि पड़ोस में सारे मुस्लिम लोग भी रहते हैं। इवन जब हम सुबह जाते हैं जपा वॉक करते हुए तो हमें देख के हरे कृष्णा भी कहते हैं, तो और हम उनको देख के अस्सलाम बोलते हैं, या गुरुद्वारा वाले लोग मिलते हैं तो उनको वाहे गुरु कहते हैं।
जब मेरी पैदाइश हुई मैं यहीं खेला, यहीं पला पोसा, बड़ा हुआ, जवान हुआ। जब खुदा के घर की खिदमत करते हैं तो खुदा इसके वैसे बड़ी बरकत देता है हमें।
हम सब हज़रत आदम अलैहिस्सलाम की औलाद हैं। अब अल्लाह पाक ने तो इंसान को बनाया, हमारे बाप हज़रत आदम अलैहिस्सलाम को बनाया, वहाँ से ये इंसानियत शुरू हुई है। अब ये फ़िरके हैं, कुछ मज़ाहिब हैं, लोग बट गए। यहाँ आके हमें अंदाज़ा होता है कि जैसे कि हम सुनते हैं हिंदू, मुस्लिम, सिख, ईसाई आपस में हैं भाई भाई।
नारायणपुरा रंछोड़ लैंड जिला ये अज तो तकरीबन 200 साल पुराना है। खेडा खुडा दे राही अज उन्हां विचों कई पादरी बन गए हैं, कई पंडित साहिबान बन गए ने, ते गुरु की कृपा सदका मैं आप गुरु घर दा अदना सा सेवादार हाँ।
हरे कृष्णा, मेरा नाम प्रभुदास अधिकारी है और हम जो है कि नारायणपुरा मनन मंदिर में 30 साल से बैठे हैं, कृष्णा भक्ति कर रहे हैं। यहाँ पर तकरीबन नहीं तो 8 से 10 मंदिर है सिर्फ इस रंचोलन के इलाके में। शाम को डेली मेरा टेंपल होता है, मैं 4 साढ़े 4 बजे आ जाता हूँ। तो उसके बाद मैं 7 बजे मंदिर जाता हूँ। फिर वहाँ पर हम भक्तों के साथ रहते हैं। अभी अजान हो रही थी कुछ देर पहले। जितनी भी हमारी औरतें होंगी वो अपने सर पे दुपट्टा ले लेती है। टीवी के वॉल्यूम बंद हो जाते हैं। ये इसलिए नहीं कि खौफ के मारे, ये बिल्कुल प्रेम के मारे कि नहीं भाई अल्लाह का नाम ही भगवान का नाम है, हम इस तरह मानते हैं। यहाँ पर सिख कम्युनिटी है तो कम, मगर उनका गुरुद्वारा बहुत बड़ा है और इनका सालाना जो बड़ा प्रोग्राम होता है उसमें काफ़ी लोग जाते हैं। और हम जब साल में एक बार प्रोग्राम भी बनाते हैं जिसमें हम पंजा साहब जाते हैं, ननकाना साहब जाते हैं, तो हमारे लिए बिल्कुल बाकायदा अलग से लहसुन प्याज बगैर का प्रसाद बनाते हैं, क्योंकि हम लोग बेसिकली वैष्णव लोग हैं। हम ऑनियन गार्लिक बिल्कुल यूज़ नहीं करते।
कहने का तो हम हिंदू, सिख, ईसाई, क्रिश्चियन हैं, लेकिन जब किसी की फौतगी हो जाती है, काल चलाना होता है, तो हम सब एक हो जाते हैं।
मैं इकबाल मसीह हूँ। बचपन से लेके अभी तक मैं सरंशुले नागबा के अंदर है। इस जगह पे क्रिश्चियन कमेटी कम से कम 2000 की तादाद में है। हम यही चाहते हैं कि जब खुदा का कलाम सुनते हैं ताकि खुदा का कलाम लोगों तक पहुँचे, चाहे कोई सिख हो, चाहे कोई हिंदू हो, चाहे कोई गुजराती हो, चाहे कोई मुसलमान भाई हो, क्योंकि कलाम की बातें तो सबके लिए एक ही है। फिर चारों जमात के अंदर जो खुदा का फजल, मोहब्बत, उसका प्यार जो आज हमारे दरमियान में है, जो मिल बांट के एक दूसरे के दुख दर्द में काम आते हैं, और खुदा इस पे हमें और अपने बदन में बढ़ाता है और हमें तरक्की देता है।
अगर हम बाहर जाना भी चाहें तो हम जा नहीं पाते हैं। ये इलाका और ये महल्ला, ये लोग हमें नहीं छोड़ पाते। जो हमारे बुज़ुर्ग जो थे, तो उनके दौर से जो है इनके साथ हमारी जो है मिलनसारी है, एक कारोबारी वाबस्तगी भी है। जब भी हमने कोई काम किया है, कोई कारोबार किया है, तो वो इनसे रिलेटेड हो जाता है। जैसे कि कोई पानी की सप्लाई है, माशाल्लाह मेरी सुजुकियाँ भी थी, तो बेचारे मुझे बुक किया करते थे, कहीं आना जाना हो, फैमिलियों को लेके जाना आना। और आज तक अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह कोई इनसे हमारी कोई बदमज़गी नहीं, कोई ऐसा इख्तिलाफ़ नहीं। जैसे कि अल्लाह पाक ने फरमाया, और उनके खुदाओं को बुरा ना कहो, तो ये अल्लाह की हिकमत है जो अल्लाह पाक ने ये इस तरह से फरमाया है। तो इसकी तशरीह जब हुई तो ये हुई कि अगर आप किसी के खुदा को बुरा कहोगे तो वो तुम्हारे खुदा को बुरा कहेगा। हम इनकी इबादत गाहों की हिफाजत करने की कोशिश करते हैं और करते हैं।
ये जो दस्तार में सजाई है, ये मेरी शान है, मेरी सियान है, मेरी पछाण। इस तो बिना मेरी कोई पछाण नहीं। ये मेरी धरती है, मेरा जमन पलन इत्थे होया है, मैनू इत्थे किसी प्रकार का कोई दुश्वारी नहीं। इस नारायणपुरा में सिख बिरादरी जो है छोटी सी कमेटी, टोटल आबादी हमारी 4 से 5 हज़ार होगी।
अरे अंकल मैं यहाँ से कैसे निकलूँ?
मेरा जो किरत का तरीका है, जो रोज़गार है, वो मैं ऑटो चला के अपने घर का किरत का करता हूँ। जो राह विच मिलता है बड़ा खुश होता है, निहाल होता है देख के, वाह जी वाह, सरदार जी साढ़े शहर ते रिश्का चला रहे हैं, बड़े चाह नाल आके मिलता है। शाम में आके अपने बच्चों में बैठ के खाना पीना खा के नहा धोकर फिर गुरुद्वारे में शाम की जो इबादत है उसको अदा करता हूँ।
एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरख निर्भय निर्वैर अकाल मूरत अजूनी सैभं।
ये लंगर जो दिया जाता है ना, ये गुरु नानक साहब ने हमें सिखाया है कि अपनी कमाई से हमने ज़रूरतमंदों की इस ढंग से भी हम उनकी मदद कर सकते हैं। एक पंगत में, एक कतार में बैठ के हम सब लोग सेम टू सेम, अमीर गरीब ऊंची नीची जात का बंदा एक सिफ्त में बैठ के खा सकता है, जिससे कि हमारे मुस्लिम वीर जब बाजमात नमाज अदा करते हैं तो उसमें सब एक सिफ्त में खड़े होते हैं। शादी को तो 13 साल हो गए। 2 बेटियां दोस्त मेरी, एक बड़ी बेटी दरप्रीत कौर और छोटी जयदीप कौर। और मैं चाहता हूँ, मेरी ये दिली ख्वाहिश है कि मैं अपनी बच्चों के लिए आला तालीम को दिला सकूं। मेरी बेटियां ना, जो मेरी जान है, धड़कन है, उनके बगैर मेरा गुजारा नहीं। जब तक उनको देखता नहीं ना तो मुझे सुकून नहीं मिलता। गुरुद्वारे डेली लेके जाता हूँ ताकि अपने दीन से भी टच रहे। मैं अपने बच्चों को सिखाता हूँ कि भाई अपनी सिक्खी को बरकरार रखना है, उसकी पकड़ मजबूत करनी है। सतनाम
सतनाम
करता पुरख निर्भव निर्वैर। के लोग कृपान देख के डर जाते हैं, अरे भाई ये क्या लगे घूम रहे हो, पुलिस पकड़ लेगी, ये हो जाएगा। फिर उनको बड़े प्यार से समझाता हूं, भाई ऐसा नहीं होता, ये हमारा दीनी चिन्ह है और हमारी पहचान है, इसे डरने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, ये आपकी और मेरी हिफाजत के लिए। हम जब तक यहाँ हैं, हमारी नस्लें हैं, हम हमेशा गुरसिक्की का झंडा बुलंद रहेंगे। बोले सोनिहाल, सत श्री अकाल। जब भी कोई मजहबी इवेंट आता है तो हम सब लोग मिलजुल कर इसमें पार्टिसिपेट करते हैं।
यहाँ पर एक बहुत बड़ा प्रोग्राम होता है हिंदू धर्म का, तो उसमें हमें भी इन्वाइट किया जाता है। इस खुशी को सेलिब्रेट करते हैं।
कोई छोटी ना लगा दे, यहाँ पूछे
पाकिस्तान को बहुत शुभ मानते हैं, बोले ये पाक लोगों की धरती है। कुछ नासुर लोग हैं जो इसको नीचे रखने के चक्रों में है, मगर वो बहुत जल्द ख़त्म हो जाएंगे और एक दिन ऐसा आएगा कि पाकिस्तान सर फहरिस्त होगा सबसे ज़्यादा।
अव्वल अल्लाह नूर उपाया, कुदरत के सब बंदे, एक नूर ते सब जग उपजया, कौन पले तो मंदे।
Jutti Kasoori, Walking into the Unknown, a history of Punjabi women in California. Using archival footage and interviews, this film chronicles the extraordinary stories and contributions of the pioneering South Asian Punjabi women in California's Central Valley.
जुत्ती कसूरी पैरी ना पूरी जुत्ती कसूरी पैरी ना पूरी हाय रब्बा वे सानू तुरना पिया हाय रब्बा वे
From birth, a girl from Punjab in North India is prepared for the journey she will take as a young bride from her home to her in-laws' house. Her mother teaches her how to fit into her new shoes, into her role as wife, daughter-in-law, and mother. She must learn to adjust to her husband's family's lifestyle. Many women gradually fit into their new lives, gaining respect as mothers. The majority of the South Asian Punjabi pioneers who arrived in California beginning in the 1890s were men of the Sikh faith who sought a better future. They worked as loggers, built the railroads, and became successful farmers in California, tilling land that reminded them of Punjab. But the history of Punjabi women in California remains forgotten and invisible. Punjabi and Punjabi Mexican American women share their courageous stories about walking into the unknown. The Sikh faith was the first major world religion to encourage greater equality for women from its start in Punjab over 500 years ago. Punjabi Sikh girls grow up hearing stories about the extraordinary Sikh women who fought as warriors and ruled as queens in the Sikh empire. Sikh women are named Kaur, or princess, reflecting the community's respect for women as brave leaders. Sikh women abroad fought for India's freedom from British colonial rule and for women's right to vote in England. But Sikh women inevitably faced the contradictions between the ideal of gender equality in their faith and history and their status as women in their daily lives. The birth of a son was a source of pride in the village. Fathers gave away sweets in celebration. But the birth of girls brought mixed reactions. Some families celebrated, despite the financial hardship of paying for a daughter's wedding.
ਕੁੜੀਆਂ ਕਾੜੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਬਾਹਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਤੇ ਜਾਣ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਕਿਧਰੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਤੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਬਾਕੀ ਪੜ੍ਹਾਉਂਦੇ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਤੇ ਕੁੜੀਆਂ ਘਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਕੰਮਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਲਾਉਂਦੇ ਤੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਸੁਪਨਾ ਹੁਣ ਵੀ ਤਾਂ ਵੀ ਹੁਣ ਕਈ ਨਿਆਣੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਵੀ ਆਹ ਗੱਲ ਆਏ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਏ ਮੈਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਵੀ ਆਏ ਜੇ ਪੜ੍ਹਨਾ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਮੈਂ ਤਾਂ ਐਂ ਕਰ ਲੈਂਦੀ ਦਿਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਢਾਹ ਲਈ ਦੀ ਹੈ ਬਣਾ ਲਈ ਦੀ ਹੈ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਖਬਰ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਕੁ ਪਹੁੰਚਾਉਂਦਾ ਨਿਆਣੀਆਂ ਦਾ ਚਲ ਹੁਣ 5 ਸਾਲਾਂ ਹੀ ਤਾਂ ਮੰਗ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਸੀ ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ
Though people thought that it was important to have a boy in the family because you see
girls are not very highly educated, and girls didn't have the right to property. So that is why mainly I think people thought that it was important to have a boy. My parents treated the girls equally with the boys. We never felt that we were in any way treated less than the boys.
Savitri's father supported her education, but he did not readily support her decision to attend college.
It was my mother who supported. My mother told my father, she said, if my daughter is so keen to study further, I'm going to take her to Lahore. I was influenced by those girls and teachers who were living in the college. Then I got inspired that I could do something in life instead of just being a housewife.
ਬਗਾਨੇ 'ਚ ਰਹਿਣਾ ਸੌਖਾ ਨੀਂਦ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਆਉਂਦੀ 3-4 ਦਿਨ ਬਹੁਤ ਔਖਾ ਸੀ ਨੀਂਦ ਨਾ ਮੇਰੀ ਮੰਮੀ ਨੂੰ ਆਈ ਨਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਆ ਕੇ ਨੀਂਦ
like too young to be like appreciate ਤੁਹਾਡਾ wedding day ਕਿ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਜਾਂ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਸੀ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਮੂਵੀ ਪਲੇ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਦਾ ਕਰੀ ਜਾਓ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਰੀ ਗਏ ਤਾਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਕੁਝ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਸੀ ਮੈਂ ਕੀ ਹੋਇਆ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਤਾਂ ਕੀ
ਮਨ ਤਾਂ ਉਦਾਸ ਹੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਪੁੱਤ ਉਦੋਂ ਕੋਈ ਚੰਗਾ ਥੋੜਾ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਫਿਰ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਦਿਲ ਦੁਲ ਤਾਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਉੱਥੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਪਿਆਰ ਥੋੜਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਨਵੇਂ ਸਿਰੇ ਪਿਆਰ ਕਰਨਾ ਪੈਂਦਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜਾਣਾ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਹੁਣ ਫਿਰ ਰਹਿਣਾ ਪੈਣਾ ਇੱਥੇ
ਬਸ ਅਸੀਂ ਅੱਧੇ ਕੰਮ ਕਰੀ ਚਲੋ
ਕੰਮ ਕਰੀਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਫਿਰ ਲੀੜੇ ਧੋਈਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਰੋਟੀ ਪਾਣੀ ਬਣਾਉਣਾ ਨਾਲ ਡਰਨਾ ਫਿਰ ਕੁਝ ਕਹਿਣਾ
ਲੜਕੀ ਨੂੰ ਘਰ ਛੱਡ ਕੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਜਾਣਾ ਪੈਂਦਾ ਹਰ ਇੱਕ ਗੱਲ ਨਵੀਂ ਸਿੱਖਣੀ ਪੈਂਦੀ
Charan Kong met her husband long after their wedding day due to his education.
ਵਿਆਹ ਤੇ 5 ਮਹੀਨੇ ਬਾਅਦ
India's partition in 1947 was the largest mass human migration in history. 14 million people crossed the newly created border between India and Pakistan. Over 1 million people were murdered in the religious violence between the Muslim, Sikh, and Hindu communities. Charan Kong was just 18 years old in 1947. The Kongs never imagined they would be forced to leave their home, not until the night they fled for their safety to India, never to return home again. The Kong family's terrifying journey to India lasted over 2 months.
ਕੁਛ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਘਰ ਤੇ ਲਿਆਏ ਐਕਣ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਹੁਣ ਅੱਜ ਤਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਧੋਤੇ ਵਧੀਆ ਪਾਇਆ ਹੀ ਘਰਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੁੰਨੇ ਆ ਆਮ ਕੱਪੜੇ ਪਾਏ ਵੇ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਬੈਠੇ ਉਦਾਂ ਹੀ ਭੱਜ ਲਏ
In order to protect the family's honor, Muslim, Sikh, and Hindu families made plans for taking the lives of their own mothers, sisters, and daughters as a last resort. Many believed an honorable death for women was better than rape or religious conversion.
ਸਾਨੂੰ ਆਏ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਵੀ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੁਸਲਮਾਨ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਪਰ ਆ ਪਏ ਨਾ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਮਾਰਨ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਹੱਥ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਉਣਾ ਖੂਹ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਪਿੰਡ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡਾ ਗੱਬੇ ਪਿੰਡ ਦੇ ਵੀ ਉੱਥੇ ਛਾਲਾ ਮਾਰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਹੱਥ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਉਣਾ ਹਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਤਿਆਰ ਤੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨਾ ਤਿੱਕੇ ਵੀ ਕੁਛ ਕਰਕੇ ਮਰਨਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ ਜਦ ਡਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ
She lost 10 family members to communal violence during the partition. One of her most painful memories is parting from her Muslim best friend Fatima, as she was suddenly forced to leave her village forever.
ਮੇਰਾ ਦਿਲ ਕੰਬਣ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਜਦ ਮੈਂ ਇਹ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰਦੀ
I didn't have not the slightest ill feelings for the Muslim community because they helped us a lot. Today I have plenty, tomorrow I may not have even one to wear because I saw that.
Most Punjabi women arrived in the United States after World War II. They followed their husbands who had settled in California as early as the 1890s, seeking a better life for their families. Nand Kaur was the first Punjabi woman to live in Yuba City when she arrived with her husband in the mid-1920s. Theirs was the first Punjabi family in Yuba City, a small town in Northern California. They were politically active supporters of India's freedom struggle. Forgotten today are the thousands of wives left behind in Punjab after their husbands left the country. Bani Rai lived apart from her husband for 62 years. She raised her 2 sons in a Punjabi village, joining her husband in Yuba City at the very end of her long life. Veena Singh looked forward to the adventure of coming to America.
I always wanted to go overseas, abroad.
When I leave Delhi, I was so scared because I don't know English. Then I was saying, I don't know where I'm going. Then my mom ne na miss kita. Sare raay mein rodi aayi. Te ithe aa ke fir mainu bukhar chad gaya. Then main utri.
After hearing about the many opportunities in America, Punjabi women were often shocked when they saw the realities of life in Yuba City.
पर जदों तुसी ब्याह करा के किते जांदे हो ते तानू पता लगदा है कि दिस इज इट हुण वापस नहीं तुसी जा सकदे हुण इत्थे ही रहना पर आई नेवर यूज्ड टू write to my parents anything negative.
After Verinder Kaujla arrived in Yuba City in the 50s, her loneliness grew when another Punjabi woman told her about their husbands' relationships with other women.
There they go to see the old girlfriend. She would make me so depressed.
Punjabi women formed lifelong friendships and helped other women adjust to their American lives.
They
were my friend, they were my parents, everything to me. Warrior was very prejudiced. Very prejudiced. ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਵੇਂਦੇ ਸੀ ਨਾ ਕੋਈ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਯੂ ਹਿੰਦੂ ਕਈ ਗਾਣਾ ਵੀ ਕੱਢਦੇ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਟਾਈਮਾਂ 'ਚ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਇੰਡੀਅਨ ਡਰੈਸ ਪਾ ਕੇ ਬਾਹਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਨਿਕਲਦਾ, even old lady.
Women drove newcomers to get groceries, took them to the hospital, helped them buy American clothes, taught them how to cook, and babysat their children. When a Punjabi woman arrived in Yuba City, they hosted tea parties to welcome her to the community. There were only a handful of Punjabi women in the United States before World War II. Punjabi American men had married women from diverse cultural backgrounds, especially from Mexico, between the 1910s and the 1940s, when immigration from India was barred.
And Punjabis, those are mostly my friends. All of them are mostly Punjabis. I like to be included with them.
The Stockton Sikh temple was the center of the South Asian pioneer community in the United States for decades after its opening in 1912. Sikhs, Muslims, and their Catholic wives from Mexico gathered for important holidays from across the West to socialize and pray together.
Stockton ਜਾਂਦੇ ਸੀ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਾ ਇੱਥੇ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਨਾ ਤੇ Stockton ਸੀਗਾ ਤੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਵਿਸਾਖੀ ਦੇ ਜੋੜ ਮੇਲੇ ਤੇ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਬੜਾ ਚਾਅ ਹੋਣਾ ਵੀ ਸਾਰੇ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਹੋਣਾ ਕਿ ਦੂਰ ਦੂਰ ਤੇ ਰੀਜਨਲ ਉਦੋਂ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਇੰਨੇ ਇਹੋ ਹੀ ਸੀ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਾ
Stockton को बहुत खुशी महसूस होती सी क्योंकि गुरुद्वारे इन्ने है नहीं सी लंगर जाके छकना उत्थे बड़ा स्वाद होता ते को खुशी ना बनाउंदे हुंदे सी
बड़ी एक्साइटमेंट होंदी सी जद ਅਸੀਂ ਤਾਂ 2 ਮਹੀਨੇ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਤਿਆਰੀ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰ ਦੇਣੀ.
But India's partition also divided Punjabis in America. Before the partition, the Stockton Sikh temple was an interfaith religious, political, and social institution for all South Asian Americans. After 1947, Sikhs, Muslims, and Hindus prayed at their own gurdwaras, mosques, and temples. India's Republic Day was the major festival in Yuba City's Punjabi community from the 1950s until the 1970s.
ਖੜੀ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਸੀ ਜਣੀ ਮੰਨਦੇ ਸੀ ਸੁਣਦੇ ਸੀ ਉਹਦੀ ਗੱਲ
The Punjabis in Yuba City formed a small, tight-knit community in the 50s and 60s.
Radio station KUBA Yuba City ਤੋਂ ਬੋਲ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ
ਇਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਸ਼ਾਮ ਦੇ 7:02 ਹੋ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਰੇਡੀਓ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਸਭਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਹੁਣ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਜੋ 4 ਘੰਟੇ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਹਨ 11 ਵਜੇ ਤੱਕ
After surviving decades without U.S. citizenship and the right to own land, their civil rights were restored on a limited basis in 1946. After the 1965 Immigration Act, there was a dramatic increase in the arrival of Punjabis in California. Women worked hard to help their family farming businesses succeed beginning in the 50s. This is the critical era when Punjabi families began to thrive in peach farming in Yuba City.
40 ਏਕੜਾਂ 'ਚ ਪਾਣੀ ਪਿਲਾ ਲੈਂਦੀ ਸੀਗੀ ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਟਰੈਕਟਰ ਵੀ ਚਲਾਇਆ ਟਰੱਕ ਆਪਣੇ ਫਰੂਣ ਵੀ ਢੋਏ ਆ ਟਰੱਕ ਪੀਚਸ ਵੀ ਸਟੇਸ਼ਨ ਤੇ ਇਦਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਲੀ ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਫਰਕ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ
Punjabi women also worked in the peach and prune canneries, earning crucial income for their families. In the canneries, Punjabi women met women from different cultural backgrounds for the first time. They vividly remember working under their white floor supervisor, whom they called the floor lady.
ਡਰ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਸੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਸੀ ਮੈਂ ਖੜੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋਲ ਮੈਂ ਕੰਮ ਜਾਣਾ ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਡਰਦੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ
Women helped transform the religious and cultural life of California's Punjabi community beginning in the 50s. Warrior Kaur was the first woman in Yuba City who could recite the Guru Granth Sahib, or Sikh scriptures, after she came in 1951. She started a weekly prayer group at the Gurdwara that was mainly attended by women. She had a gift for explaining the deeper meanings in Sikhi in simple language that inspired others to deepen their faith. In 1964, Nand Kaur and Puna Singh donated an acre of land for the first Gurdwara in Yuba City.
ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਾ ਉਹ ਆਪਣੇ ਖੇਤ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਣਾਉਣ ਲੱਗੀ ਸੀ
But eventually it was built on another site. The Purewal family gave nearly 11 acres of land for the first Gurdwara in Yuba City. It was the third Gurdwara in California when it opened in 1971. Women have volunteered countless hours in the Gurdwara's community kitchen for Sikhs and visitors. Women also cooked all of the food for weddings. In the 70s and 80s, as U.S. immigration laws changed, allowing greater numbers of Punjabis to arrive, there was a revival of cultural and religious traditions. Today, Yuba City has the largest concentration of Punjabis of any American city. Many women enjoyed publicly celebrating their faith and wearing Punjabi clothes. Some renewed their faith together. In the Amrit initiation ceremony, a Sikh becomes fully dedicated to following the divine path of truth, love, and justice. Being a fully initiated Sikh is a rigorous path that few follow. 5 Sikh women proudly served as the blessed ones in Yuba City's Sikh parade.
ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਰਦੇ
In 1996, the Sikh farmer Hardyal Hanji built an interfaith Hindu temple in Yuba City as a monument to his love for his late Hindu wife, Kushalia Devi. Punjabi women started organizing the incredibly popular Women's Tiya festivals in California in the 1990s. They also joined many vibrant Punjabi cultural festivals. Punjabi women have been trailblazers in every field of pursuit in American life since the 60s. In 1961, Savitri Randhawa was one of the first unmarried Punjabi women to come to America to further her education. Her family returned to India where she became a professor. It was a rare achievement for a woman to occupy such a prominent post in the 60s. Kushalia Devi succeeded as a real estate agent in Yuba City in the 70s. Her daughter, Prem Hanji Turner, became the first female attorney from Yuba City's Punjabi community in 1979. After putting herself through school, she worked for the governor and later headed her own law firm.
And so it never occurred to me that I would do anything other than be a lawyer. Compared to working on a farm, it was a piece of cake.
Pushpinder Kaur is an educator in the Bay Area. She and her husband created the largest Punjabi language school in the United States, where they have taught thousands over the last 30 years. She has helped countless children, especially Sikh boys, deal with the widespread problem of bullying. Her book helps kids overcome their fear of the unknown by showing that people of all backgrounds share many similarities, even if they look different. Navkiran Kalra, a Bay Area engineer, keeps her father's legacy alive. She lost her father, Jaswant Singh Kalra, when she was just 10 years old due to his dangerous work in documenting human rights abuses in Punjab. Her father was one of the thousands of Sikhs who were declared disappeared by the police during the 80s and 90s.
As a Sikh, our main responsibility is to stand against oppression.
Harmeet Kaur Tillo is a San Francisco-based litigator who is the most prominent Sikh woman in American politics who identifies as Sikh. She made history when she sang the Sikh Ardas prayer in the 2016 Republican National Convention.
Ardas is a Sikh prayer appealing to the one God above for protection and guidance, a reminder to uphold the Sikh and American values of humility, truth, courage, service, justice for all, and gratitude for all that our Creator has given to us. Tu thakar tum pe ardas, jio pind sab teri ras, tum mat pita hum barak te.
In 2017, Preet Didbal of Yuba City became the first Sikh female mayor in the United States. Women today are grappling with how to balance achieving their own ambitions while also fulfilling their family duties, culture, and faith. Prem Hanji Turner is the daughter of Punjabi immigrants in Yuba City. She married an attorney of European heritage against her parents' wishes. Prem's father grew to love her husband and respect their marriage.
Dating? What's that? we were not allowed to date. We not only weren't allowed to date, even when I was in college, you're not even supposed to speak to somebody of the opposite sex. I just couldn't imagine myself being married to somebody who was picked out for me. I wanted to make my own mistake if I made a mistake. It just was not in my realm of thinking.
Dr. Jayawant Kaur Rangi is a doctor in the Sacramento area. She fulfilled her father's last wishes by becoming a medical doctor and choosing her life partner.
Like at the first minute, and I knew this is the guy I want to get married to. He supported me in every way. He's like, you should go for it. You should go for it. I know you can do it. I think you can do it. So those kind of supportive words always make you feel that, yes, I think I can do it. You know, I feel very satisfied with what I wanted to achieve in life.
Gurinder Pal Singh broke the cycle of gender inequality from the first day of their marriage.
We got married. His mother told me to touch his feet on my first night. Right? That's the culture, right? And I touched his feet, and I was 22 years old. I felt I was a little girl, and I touched. He says, "What are you doing?" I said, "Your mommy told me to do that." And he says, "No, we are equal. We are partners." And he has treated me as an equal partner in everything that we have done, including this seva. You know, he has given me so much confidence to play this leadership role.
For Pavan, being a Sikh is about living up to its core ethical values. She is a first-generation college student who decided to become a fully initiated or Amritdhari Sikh.
You should be a really humble person and honest. Then I want to do a PhD in mathematics. So I want to be a professor.
Gina Corsido follows the Sikh military tradition. Her father's brutal treatment by the Punjab authorities due to his student activism led their family to leave India for America.
You know, who knows if my mom, myself, my dad would even be alive had we not come to this country. So I kind of always knew that I wanted to serve as a way of saying thank you.
Gina grew up with a deep patriotism for her family's adopted country. Gina is one of the few Sikh women serving in the U.S. Navy. Her military service challenges cultural norms about how women should behave in the Punjabi community and in American society.
I never thought of myself to be that wife or mother that sits at home waiting for my husband to bring home the paycheck and take care of the house. And I want to be able to sit down with my kids one day and tell them, look, mom and dad built this for you. And these were our career paths. This is what we've accomplished. What are you going to do to one-up us now? I think it's just as important for us to respect our elders as much as it is for our elders to try to be a little open-minded about the struggles that we face as young adults.
ਸਭ ਖਾਸ ਪੂਰੀ ਹੈ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਭ ਨੂੰ ਤੰਦਰੁਸਤੀ ਰੱਖੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਖੁਸ਼ ਹੈ ਅਸੀਂ ਖੁਸ਼ ਇਹ ਮੁਲਕ ਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ
Genuinely thank my mother and father for who I've become today, because I know without their influence I wouldn't be here. This wouldn't be me. So I owe them everything.
I think we're standing on the shoulders of giants. I don't think migrating to a country is easy by any means. I think the level of sacrifice that generation took was unbelievable and astounding. To leave everything you know, everyone you know, everything that's familiar to you, for something better life for future generations.
ਜਿਹੜਾ ਦੁੱਖ ਸੁੱਖ ਆ ਨਾ ਇਹ ਪਾਰਟ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦਾ ਹੈ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਵਕਤ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਹਰ ਇੱਕ ਲਾਈਫ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਚੇਂਜ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਹੁਣ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਗਾਂ ਬੱਚੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਲਾਈਫ ਹੋਰ ਠੀਕ ਰਹਿਣੀ ਹੈ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਵੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਹੇਟ ਨਾ ਕਰੋ ਪਿਆਰ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਰਹੋ ਸਾਰੇ ਤੇ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਸਾਰੀ ਬੜੀ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਚਲੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ
ਇਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਸ਼ਾਮ ਦੇ 11 ਵੱਜ ਰਹੇ ਹਨ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਰੇਡੀਓ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮਾਂ ਦੇ ਸਮਾਪਤ ਹੋਣ ਦਾ ਵੇਲਾ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਐਤਵਾਰ ਸ਼ਾਮ ਦੇ 7 ਵਜੇ ਰੇਡੀਓ ਸਟੇਸ਼ਨ KUBA ਯੁਵਾ ਸਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਸਟੂਡੀਓਜ਼ ਤੋਂ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਦੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਵਿੱਚ 4 ਘੰਟੇ ਦੇ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਰੇਡੀਓ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਅਸੀਂ ਪੇਸ਼ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਤਦ ਤੱਕ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਆਗਿਆ ਦਿਓ ਰੱਬ ਰਾਖਾ ਸਤਿ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ
In Style with Kaur, a young Sydney-based fashion designer and first ever turban Sikh fashion blogger fuses Eastern and Western cultures with her fashion.
It's very interesting that the way that you look, people just change their perception straight away that, oh, she has a turban on her head, she cannot be Australian born. I'm Karen Kaur. I have a blog called Style with Kaur on Instagram, and I basically just started in 2014 in March. And prior to me starting Style with Kaur, I didn't know what I was going in for. I just loved fashion, and I knew that at that time blogging was like a massive thing. And before starting Style with Kaur, I did a little bit of research, and I found out that there was no bloggers that were from the Sikh community, especially Sikh women. That's when I started getting a lot of audience, and that's when I started getting recognized as the first Sikh fashion blogger. And to me that was such an amazing title. And literally within 1 month, I got over like 5,000 followers. Like it just kept growing and growing and growing. So the first year was really good. It kept me inspired because, you know, I was giving out new content. Before starting Style with Kaur, my intention was to never be an inspiration or a public speaker for my religion, but that just came along with it. Obviously, I was born a Sikh, but I didn't actually really learn about what Sikhism was until I was a teenager. And once I started getting older and stuff, my parents became a bit more religious being around them, it kind of inspired me to start actually learning about what our religion is. I decided to start doing Gatka, which is like a martial arts. So when I started Gatka, and that's when I realized that this is such a beautiful religion and how have I waited this long to know what it's about. So once I started Gatka, that's when I started knowing about the turban. And one of my friends that I've met there, she tied a turban on me. That's when I realized, I was like, this is such a beautiful feeling, like this is what I want to keep doing. And then it wasn't until I was in senior year is when I decided to wear the turban full time. You should have come yesterday.
I was working. So I'm Patrick Yoon. I'm friends with Karen. I'm also a photographer. Part-time, I'm also like a stylist sometimes, and I love to illustrate and design as well.
Working with him has been a game changer for me. He's really opened up my eyes to continue doing what I'm doing. Not only does he take my photos, but he's also helped me to do all my graphics for Untitled Chapter and SWK designs as well. I do have my bad turban days.
I can't tell the difference.
Yeah, you can't, but
So, me and Karen, we met because of work. This relationship kind of happened because of Karen Millen. I don't really see girls with turbans, so I didn't really understand the Sikh religion. She came for the interview, and then I was like, oh my God, this girl's so cool. And then someone said that she was like a blogger, and so immediately we went behind the computer, which we weren't meant to, and we like Google searched her. And then we kind of stalked her for a bit because I had all these questions, and then I still remember we went into the stock room. And then I asked her everything. She was just like this creature that I've never seen before, and I was like so unfamiliar with anything. Like I asked her what the turban meant, I wanted to know her standpoint on political views, I wanted to know about style, and so I asked her everything pretty much in the first like hour that we were together in the stock room. Yeah, that one's a keeper.
That one's a keeper. I really need to be comfortable so I can loosen up and be really like relaxed. But in time now, like I can only take photos with Patrick. Everyone else I get really like conscious about. Balancing my Australian culture and my Indian culture aspects of my life. I was born in Australia. I've been raised as Australian, so I feel like I'm more Australian, but my religion is Sikhism. When I first ever started my job in fashion, it was in a department store, and it was like a very old lady. And she came up to me and she's like, so, when did you move to Australia? And I was like, no, actually I was born here. And she's like, oh, but because of this, you know. So it was really interesting. To me, I don't care because, you know, these people are just, they just want to know. They want to be informed about, you know, why they dress like this. And, you know, if I was in her shoes too, I would probably feel the same way. I think it's just breaking barriers. I need to tell these people to break it. And maybe then the balanced life might come a bit easier as well. So the way that I combine my Indian culture and Western culture is just the way that I dress. And the way that I dress in my Western world is how I would kind of use those silhouettes and put them into my Indian wear. So I would use Indian fabrics, but the silhouettes would be coming straight from Western trends. So my first collection is called Dream. So it's like with Western trends, I love to use bell sleeves, flared pants, and a lot of lace. At the same time, I wanted to incorporate Indian embroidery. So in a lot of my designs, I've used Zardolzi embroidery, which is used by Zardolzi thread. So all of that combined together, that's how I created Dream.
I 've 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 'ave 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 '
When I go to the Gurdwara, I definitely do not want to hide who I am. I am Style Kaur and I am Karen Kaur.
ਚੰਗਾ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂ ਫੈਸ਼ਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਪਰ ਕਿਉਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਰਿਲੀਜਨ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਰਿਲੇਟਡ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿ ਜੇ ਤੂੰ ਫੈਸ਼ਨ ਕਰਨਾ ਫੈਸ਼ਨ ਮਤਲਬ ਕਿ ਥੋੜਾ ਰਿਲੀਜਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ ਰੱਖਣਾ
My Sikh community here are a bit mixed-minded with the way that I promote fashion. We're a very small community here in Sydney, and I feel like when I first came out doing what I was doing, everyone was a bit like, oh, that's a bit different. Like, she's using her religion to get famous, or she's using her religion to be fashionable, or what, like little comments like that.
ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਤਾਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇਹਦਾ ਫੈਸ਼ਨ ਠੀਕ ਲੱਗਾ ਫਿਰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਹਾਂ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਹਾਂ ਠੀਕ ਚੱਲ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਬੜੇ ਦਾਇਰੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਹਿ ਕੇ ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਜੋ ਫੈਸ਼ਨ ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਆ
And I don't care about the negativity that's happening from my Sikh community. I rather just focus on the positive people that I have in my life. When I go to the Gurdwara, I get a lot of stares, obviously, but not many people come up to me. A couple of weeks ago, one little girl came up to me and I was drying my hands in the bathroom. She came and hugged me from the back. I was like, oh my gosh. She's like, are you Style Kaur? And I was like, yeah. She's like, oh, I follow you and you're my inspiration. She wants to get into art, but she's really scared. She's like, oh, I love how you just put yourself out there. Now I want to start doing that too. Even if it's just one little girl that I'm impacting, that will overpower all of the negativity that comes with it. Yeah, and you're good to be here for a while, right?
Yeah. We bought 2 classes, I'll probably go.
Okay, and you use Instagram?
Yeah.
Today I'm doing a campaign shoot for my first ever launch, and it's been a long time coming. I've been working on my Indian wear for like the last 2 years. Every Indian outfit that I wear I've designed, and so many people compliment me. So then I was like, why don't I just design a whole collection?
I'm Nikki. I am the hair and makeup artist. So she said I'm coming out with my collection, which is amazing. I think that is such a wonderful thing. And I was 100% on board.
I can't believe this is actually happening. Like, it's coming to life.
I feel so royal, honestly.
That's where I want girls to feel. I want them to feel like confident. So the last 6 months I've been working on my Resort 2018 collection. So it's all about being relaxed and all about simplicity. I want girls who wear the turban to feel okay to be fashionable and still, you know, wear beautiful Indian clothing. I wanted to use those trends and kind of put them into conservative wear. Before doing that, I had to obviously research and find the gap in the market. There's just not enough conservative Indian wear. I wanted to use trends from both the Western world and the Indian world, and, you know, East meets West kind of thing.
So middle probably, yeah. So if you, I think either we just go 1, 2, 3. Well done, now look away, a couple of different smiles. Yep, perfect.
Karen's designs are really unique, like very modest, and it's something that I think hasn't been done before. She's a bit of a revolutionary in a sense.
I think Karen goes about her religion the right way. She keeps it private and it's personal because it's her relationship with her God. She doesn't gloat about it or anything, or she doesn't let the turban define her as a person, but it is a part of who she is.
You have to be true to yourself. There's so many people out there doing what they love, but if you're not true to yourself, it's just very hard for you to make that impact.
In Ride with Pride, the founder of the Sikh Motorcycle Club in Melbourne, Australia, fights for helmet exemptions for turban Sikhs.
When we ride with the pride, it's mean a lot to me. Like it represents us, it represents Sikhism, it represents Punjabi.
When I ride, I can touch and feel the Mother Nature. And I feel like, yes, I'm a part of her. I feel like a free bird. Myself, Parampir Singh Rajput, and I'm the founder member of Sikh Motorcycle Club. Riding with the turban is, for us, is like a freedom. For us, like we are in home. We ride like as a free bird. With the helmet, a little bit look like we are bounded somewhere. We are in sort of in a cage likewise, When I initially came in this country, landed and the people saw me and it looked like, I'm coming from a moon or I'm an alien, What the hell are you doing, mate, here? I proudly say I'm an Australian Sikh.
The turban means stand out from the crowd. So, when you wear a turban, someone will know from your turban you're a good person. So I have a responsibility to be good. I have a responsibility to look after people even I don't know.
If there is a Sikh, he looks perfectly different by only his one image, which is a turban. If a Sikh is wearing a turban, he can be recognized in 1 million people.
Whenever I wear the turban, I realize myself as a king, and I'm the provider of everything. Turban is everything for us. It's top of the everything.
Got a file for you. Okay.
Push me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which file?
How are you?
Thank you. I'm happy.
How was the day?
Good file.
In India, we believe in arranged marriage. So it's probably arranged marriage, but I love her one-sided.
Jasmine, this might be your dad. This is, I don't know who it is. This is you. This is a flower.
Really, I'm feel myself blessed when I have 2 daughters.
How do we control this thing?
That's a God gift for us.
Wait, just do it for you, Papa.
Push.
Don't be shooting.
Sikh religion was started from the North India. So in India, general, in each and every state, helmets are exempted. Where the Sikh history is from, we are from the warrior background as well. So Sikhs served the British Army or the Army or the other armed forces, currently serving the armed forces around the globe without the helmet. So if we can do that kind of work, why not? We can ride a bike.
ਅਰੇ ਦੋਸਤੋ SPS ਰੇਡੀਓ ਦੇ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਲਈ ਮੈਂ ਪ੍ਰੀਤਿੰਦਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਗਰੇਵਾਲ ਅਤੇ ਇਸ ਵਕਤ ਸਟੂਡੀਓ 'ਚ ਸਾਡੇ ਮਹਿਮਾਨ ਬਣ ਕੇ ਆਏ ਨੇ ਪਰਮਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਰਾਜਪੂਤ, ਉਹ ਸਿੱਖ ਮੋਟਰਸਾਈਕਲ ਕਲੱਬ ਦੇ ਨੁਮਾਇੰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਹਾਂਜੀ ਪਰਮਪ੍ਰੀਤ, ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ, ਸਵਾਗਤ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ 'ਚ।
ਜੀ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਜੀ, ਇੱਥੇ ਆਸਟ੍ਰੇਲੀਆ ਵਿੱਚ ਲੈਜਿਸਲੇਸ਼ਨ ਅਲਾਓ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦਾ ਕਿ ਆਪਣੀ ਦਸਤਾਰ ਜਾਂ ਦਮਾਲਾ ਸਜਾ ਕੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੋਟਰਸਾਈਕਲ ਨੂੰ ਰਾਈਡ ਕਰ ਸਕੋ, ਜਿਹਦੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਪਰੇਸ਼ਾਨੀਆਂ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ।
ਜੀ ਅਤੇ ਪਰਮਪ੍ਰੀਤ, ਥੋੜ੍ਹਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸੇਫਟੀ ਪੁਆਇੰਟ ਆਫ ਤੋਂ ਦੱਸੋ। ਸੁਰੱਖਿਆ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਕਾਨੂੰਨ ਬਣਾਏ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ, ਉਹ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਲਈ ਬਣਾਏ ਗਏ ਨੇ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਸਿਹਤ ਠੀਕ ਰਹੇ, ਕਿਸੇ ਦੁਰਘਟਨਾ 'ਚ ਕਿਸੇ ਵਿਅਕਤੀ ਦੀ ਕੋਈ ਜਾਨ ਨਾ ਚਲੀ ਜਾਵੇ। ਉਸ ਲਿਹਾਜ਼ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਾਨੂੰਨ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹੋ ਅਤੇ ਧਰਮ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹੋ?
ਪਹਿਲੇ ਤਾਂ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਜੀ, ਸਰਕਾਰ ਸਾਡੇ ਬਾਰੇ, ਆਮ ਪਬਲਿਕ ਬਾਰੇ ਸੋਚਦੀ ਆ ਕਿ ਸੇਫਟੀ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਅੱਗੇ ਲਿਆਈ ਜਾਵੇ। ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੇਰਾ ਵੀ ਇੱਕ ਸਵਾਲ ਹੈਗਾ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਜੇ ਸੇਫਟੀ ਕਿਹਾ ਜਾਵੇ ਤਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਿਗਰਟ ਹੈ ਜਾਂ ਸ਼ਰਾਬ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਤਾਂ ਸਿਹਤ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਮਾੜੀ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਵੀ ਬੰਦ ਕਰ ਦੇਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ ਮੇਰੇ ਹਿਸਾਬ ਨਾਲ। ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕਿਉਂ ਇਹ ਅੱਗੇ ਵਧਾ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ? ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਆਮ ਪਬਲਿਕ ਤੋਂ ਉੱਤੋਂ ਵੀ ਇਫੈਕਟ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ, ਭਾਵੇਂ ਪੀਣ ਵਾਲਾ ਹੋਵੇ ਤਾਂ ਭਾਵੇਂ ਉਹ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੀ ਸੋਚ ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਜਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੇ ਧਰਮ ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਇੱਕ ਜਿਹਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕਿ ਰੋਕ ਲਾਉਣੀ, ਉਹ ਆਪਣੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਹਿਸਾਬ ਨਾਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਜੀ ਸਕਦਾ। ਮੇਰੇ ਹਿਸਾਬ ਨਾਲ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਗਲਤ ਆ।
You know, he's very important for us because he's a father, he's a son, he's a brother, and lots of responsibilities, and my kids raising to see his face, and because we love him. And we need him.
The law itself take me so long to decide whether should I wear the helmet, to take the chance to fulfill my passion, or should I follow the religion? And I confessed in front of God, I said sorry, and then I wear the helmet, yes, and then start riding.
When you ride on the Princes Highway C411, which is Pakenham, take the C411 and then all the way to the Hillsvale.
हे सच्चे पिता वाहिगुरू, ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਾਣਦੇ ਹੋ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਪੱਗ ਨੂੰ ਲਾ ਕੇ ਹੈਲਮਟ ਪਾ ਕੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆ ਮੋਟਰਸਾਈਕਲ ਚਲਾਉਣ ਦੀ ਇੱਕ ਗਲਤੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਆ। ਮੈਂ ਅੱਜ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਇਆ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਦਰ 'ਤੇ ਕਿ ਇਸ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਠੀਕ ਕਰ ਦਿਓ, ਇਹ ਐਗਜ਼ੈਂਪਸ਼ਨ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਮਿਲ ਜੇ ਤਾਂ ਜੋ ਇਹ ਗੁਲਾਮੀ ਦੀਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਅਹਿਸਾਸ ਆ ਉਹ ਟੁੱਟ ਜੇ ਔਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਤਾਜ ਨੂੰ ਸਿਰ 'ਤੇ ਸਜਾ ਕੇ ਬੜੇ ਸ਼ਾਨ ਨਾਲ ਘੁੰਮ ਸਕੀਏ। ਅਰਦਾਸ ਕੀਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਹੀ ਆਪ ਜਾਣੀ ਜਾਣੋ ਹਰ ਦਿਲਾਂ ਦੇ, ਅਣਜਾਣ ਜਾਣ ਕੇ ਮੇਰੀ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਕਬੂਲੋ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਮੋਟਰਸਾਈਕਲ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਪੱਗ ਪਾ ਕੇ ਪਰਮਿਸ਼ਨ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆ ਉਹ ਮਿਲਣੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ, ਸਾਡਾ ਰਾਈਟ ਆ
ਜੀ। ਥੋੜ੍ਹਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਲੈਂਥੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਸੈਸ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਆ ਬਟ ਨਥਿੰਗ ਇਜ਼ ਇੰਪੋਸੀਬਲ। ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਕਿ ਇਕੱਲਾ ਯੂਨਾਈਟਿਡ ਸਿੱਖਸ ਦਾ ਮਸਲਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਆ, ਇਕੱਲਾ ਸਿੱਖ ਮੋਟਰਸਾਈਕਲ ਕਲੱਬ ਦਾ ਮਸਲਾ ਨਹੀਂ, ਇਹ ਸਾਰੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਭਾਈਚਾਰੇ ਦਾ ਮਸਲਾ ਅਤੇ ਵੀ ਹੈਵ ਟੂ ਵਰਕ ਟੂਗੈਦਰ ਐਜ਼ ਅ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ। ਜਾਂ ਅਤੇ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਸਾਡਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪੜੋਸੀ ਮੁਲਕ ਹੈ ਨਿਊਜ਼ੀਲੈਂਡ, ਉੱਥੇ ਐਗਜ਼ੈਂਪਟਡ ਆ ਅਪ ਟੂ 80 ਕਿਲੋਮੀਟਰਸ ਐਨ ਆਵਰ ਤੱਕ ਵਿਲ ਬੀ ਗੁੱਡ ਇਨਫ ਟੂ ਸਟਾਰਟ ਵਿਦ।
ਹਾਂਜੀ, ਉਮੀਦ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਦਰਦ ਨੂੰ ਉਹ ਪਛਾਣਨਗੇ।
We try to do anything better day by day to improve our relation with as a husband, wife, as a parents.
You can't imagine how do I feel every single time when I'm riding. And I'm pray to God that one day I will ride with my ride, with my turban, with my pride.
I am.
What is that, like, hairy stuff like?
The hairy stuff. Right here?
Yeah.
Right there, yeah. So that goes in front of the microphone just to protect it because it's very sensitive.
Okay, touch it.
In She Who Questions, a second-generation Sikh Scottish woman works to help her Sikh sisters adjust to Western society, just as she did in her childhood. She runs an organization called Sikh Sanjog, which is devoted to giving Sikh women equal opportunities in their spiritual, personal, and professional lives.
Mother India was torn in two, you left your villages of Glotia and Bardewala. You came to Bombay, leaving behind friends, playmates, brothers and sisters. Then separated forever when you boarded the ships and planes to Britain. There's been a Sikh community in Scotland for over 70 years. Still, the people of Scotland do not fully understand who Sikhs are, what they do. People assumed that women from this community weren't educated, couldn't get jobs, didn't want to work. They're not right. I think growing up when we were younger, we were a bit confused. So we had kind of two lives in a way. At home, we were completely Indian. Everything was Indian, the language, the food, everything. And then when we were at school, we became kind of Scottish kids.
She was very mischievous because she was the youngest of us 3 sisters. She got her own way a lot, but she was very determined, always determined. She would question a lot of things that we wouldn't dare ask her mum and dad, she would ask.
I had to leave school at the age of 13. In those days, the culture of the community was such that people would be afraid that their daughters would get mixed up in any wrongdoings at school. I was at home and just learned the things that would make me a good housewife. It was hard on me. When I think about it now, it still feels painful. I would look around and think to myself, why are we living like this? Why do we have to stay at home all the time? I cannot have just been born to cook and clean. It became more and more of a struggle inside my head to think that I don't think I can live like this. Creating Sikh Syndrome, it was about something for the women of our community and for the girls going forward so that we could have something that would help enable women from our community to gain confidence and strength and understand that they have a right in society just as the same as everybody else.
It's almost like a safe haven for women who have had problems or difficulties in the past.
It was given opportunities to learn new skills, whether it was computing, reading, writing, because a lot of the Sikh ladies, they had left school at a very young age, so they didn't have very much education. So this gave them a chance to gain qualifications. I left school without any education and I got married at 18. So I got married, I had 3 children, and it was through Sikh Syndrome I got my first job.
Punjabi Junction is a social enterprise, and we created that to be the trading arm of Sikh Syndrome, the organisation. And the idea was to try and generate an income. Any surplus raised from the social enterprise would feed into Sikh Syndrome's finances, and then that would reduce our reliance on external funders. This was just 4 weeks after my wedding. So that was 1974, and this was 2014. My husband was completely different. The first thing that he said to me was that we are married, there's lots of things that I won't be able to change, but the one thing that we will have is that everything will be 50-50, so we will make any decisions together. And for me, that was the best thing that he could have said. We got each other through lots of hard times, especially when I lost my son in the road accident. We had went round to my mother-in-law's, and there was a park there, and they were playing in the park, and my elder son and my younger son both came out of the park to cross the road. And it was a very, very small road. And they'd crossed it millions of times, but it was just a car came round quite fast. and knocked him over. And then he was in a coma for a week, and then he passed away. He was 6. It changed my thinking of knowing that you can't keep putting things off. And I think that was the catalyst for everything going forward for me in creating Sikhs and Jog. I wasn't going to wait for anybody's permission. People are fighting for equality, and have been for years, and yet we have had equality embedded in our scriptures and our religious teachings. There's a whole passage. We're born from women, we're engaged to women, we're married to women. It is women that gives birth to great men, and without women there would be no man. You made your homes in Britain, but what did you see? What did you do? What did you enjoy? You spent your life in a sea of nappies, cooking and cleaning. You tasted neither the freedom, the enjoyment, or the fruits of this land. Only the men, the brothers, the husbands, the fathers, reaped the fruit.
In Edinburgh, there was only one Gurdwara. The community is very close.
But I think in the management and the running of the Gurdwaras, there should be more equality, which I don't see in Edinburgh just now.
There are a group of women, elders, who does the seva, right? The cooking and stuff. They have the say. But the community, the men run the Gurdwara.
All they see is power and control. They have no vision for the next generations of young people.
Well, last week at the Sikh temple in Edinburgh, there was an election, and it was all the males got elected. No women are running. We're not allowed.
There are 4 Gurdwaras in Glasgow. In Edinburgh, there is only one. But I think now we're at the stage where there could be room for another one. There were times when you sat together, remembering your mothers, your friends, the fields and the spinning wheels, and the cool water of the wells. And you knew that they had all become a distant dream.
ਅੱਖਾਂ ਮੀਟ ਕੇ ਵੇਖੋ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਆਨੰਦ ਆਵੇਗਾ ਇਹ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਟਾਈਮ ਹੈ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਮਿੰਟ ਹੈ
Without Sikhs and Jog, the ladies wouldn't have ventured out. And now we're venturing everywhere, which is absolutely amazing. I mean, 2 years ago, we had a large trip to Italy, where 16 ladies went, and we would never, ever have done that without Sikhs and Jog. Some men were sort of like, oh my God, a women's place is in the house and that's where it should be. It's going to give them too much confidence. It was like, oh, why does a woman, the Sikh woman want to have their own organisation? The men have got this community at the temple and that should be it. They should be one step back behind the men.
Oh yeah, Britain.
No.
Very funny. So advanced.
She's had quite a rough life in her own life, but she's made so many other lives much, much better. I think that's her goal.
Sometimes it takes one person just to push through and believe in something, and others will follow and others will stay on board, and Trishna has been that person without a doubt, yeah.
And there's been, times when I felt I was going to give up on the work that I was doing, and then more recently, since I lost my husband. now when I think of your life, my heart fills with pain. Now you are gone, leaving behind all your sorrows. And in this life, there are still unknown paths to tread. With whom do I share my heartache?
Did you greet the gnome?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Have you had something to eat?
I definitely want to make a strong choice to make sure that they're treated equally and they both have the same choices growing up. I really do want that, because I know with what my mum tried to do and is still doing to make it different for us, I want to make sure that that happens for my daughter and my son too. I think she's just given me a lot of strength to know that whatever choice I make or decision I make, I don't have to allow someone else to tell me that it's right or wrong. It's my decision.
That's dangerous. Okay. Should we go inside? And you go. When I think back to when I was younger and when I first started going out for coffee or lunch with my friend Sheila, it wasn't something that was common amongst Asian women that had been born and brought up here. These were the things that were common to Western people, and it wasn't our culture. For myself, there was always this perception of what will people think, and if somebody from the community might see me and think, what's she doing, you know, in town, having lunch or coffee. So I would always meet Sheila, and I would say to her, well, I'll come, but as long as you get a table at the back, away from, you know, anybody seeing us. Now I have this thing about being in a window, and Sheila always laughs because she thinks it's really funny that, you know, 20 years ago I was like, make sure it's at the back, and now I'm saying to her, no, make sure it's at the front. Your mother gave you blessings. Be happy in your new life, and let the gentle breezes bring messages of your well-being.
Tigerstyle.
Charge all the batteries. These ones are charging.
We are kind of highly regarded within the Sikh community anyway, because we've always kept our Sikhi roop, so the way we look has always been true to Sikhism. The material, the kind of religious material that we've put out has always been of a really good quality and has had a good message.
We're known for delivering something new.
We learnt tabla together, we went to Punjabi school together, we done kirtan together. At school, our friends were into like hip hop and dance music and stuff, so we started to listen to the Western kind of music.
We didn't want them not to do it because it was their passion. You can't hold back your children. You don't want them to be bitter about it later on and think, oh, my parents didn't let me do this. So we helped them as much as we could.
Time that we spent on music production and DJing was together. So that was a venture that we kind of both got into at the same time. And just naturally we kind of split the roles.
What are we doing now?
Monica's vocals.
He was handling more of the technical side of stuff and the programming side of the music production, and I was handling more of the bookings and running of the business and trying to see where we could take the music.
Our next act is made up of two brothers. They've been mixing up hip-hop with Desi sounds. They've also produced white label mixes for people like Eminem, 50 Cent and Busta Rhymes. Their success has taken them touring across the world.
New York today, San Francisco tomorrow. Make some noise, all the way from Scotland. Watch the house.
My first impression of them, actually, they're very strong characters. They're very disciplined in terms of what they like to do and what they don't like to do. The music reflects who they are as people.
Yo, and now I rise up, they be falling down, and now you're watching and clocking to the way I'm falling now. I'll be taking it to a whole nother level with the soul. Yeah, I come up from the pain, I ain't letting go.
Haters, they can't see me. I'm on my hustle making money. Live by the truth, keeping my heart pure. I'm an outlaw, I'm an outlaw.
I teach my older daughter Simmer how to sing a little bit. She's sang at the Gurdwara a couple of times. For me, that's really amazing because it takes me back to when I was a kid and when I first learned how to sing in the Gurdwara, and you know, I can completely understand her nervousness when she was about to start.
Do you think he's still doing his classes, his singing classes?
I think he does.
'Cause I was thinking we should put Simmer in. Maybe I'll just sit in with her.
The thing is, it ends up being quite a long day on a Sunday then.
I think they've really melted Raj's heart.
You are a princess.
This other side of him comes out that, you know, I've not seen before. Once he became a father, I noticed a lot of confidence in him. He became more confident in what he does and more aware of what he does because he has two daughters, because he has children now that look up to him, that are watching his every move.
We have a responsibility, whether we're from Punjab or not, whether we're born in Punjab or not. As Punjabi people, we still have a responsibility to try and uplift our community back there. Asa mahalla chotha jina mastak tur har likhya tina satgur milya ram raj. You look at any kind of cultural group within the whole world, you look at what certain rap artists did through the emergence of hip-hop music and how they managed to uplift a culture through that musical movement, and then you think, Punjabi music has been going for so long, why has there been no kind of movement within Punjabi artists to consciously come together and try and get rid of these bad behaviours within society? Being on drugs and drinking heavily and all these kind of things are glorified in songs. Our songs that are about partying don't have that reference to alcohol or any other kind of, intoxication. It's mostly just about going out and having a good time.
You gave them the payments?
I'll do that just now. We're starting to be a little bit more picky about who we work with and what kind of material we put out. Over the next few years, you'll see projects from Tigerstyle come out less frequently, but I think the projects will be bigger and better.
This is a Central Line train to West Ruislip, Myrtle, Hampstead City and Metropolitan.
Being alone is not something that I find difficult. In fact, I've always said if I was on a desert island and I crashed, as long as I got a pencil, I'd be fine. In fact, I'd be pretty happy actually. So I don't think I have that same kind of need for social interaction or kind of affection that other people have.
You're doing an amazing job, dude.
So I do
well.
like realistic pencil artwork.
Really good, yeah. So you should, you've got a serious talent, man.
But as you can see, it's progressing, you know. So it's.
Let me just say something. If you can draw in front of people in charcoal to that standard, your work shouldn't be here. You should be like doing it on canvas and selling them in thingies, man. I see a lot of people like yourself. I was like that myself as well. But nowadays, you know, you can make a living as an artist, man.
Raj is a hard worker. He's better. Personalities are a bit different.
So the artwork for my uncle, it really is everything, to be honest. That is, he puts all these hours into it, all these efforts, all his mind, body and soul into this career that he's chosen.
When I graduated, I just kind of, I found the world much more difficult to deal with than university. And so for a lot of reasons, I stopped drawing. 1 year turned to 2, then 2 turned to 3. And then the next thing I know, it's like 12, 13 years later. I mean, I didn't even use the word depression. I use it all the time now, but I never said the word. I don't remember saying it to family. I don't remember saying it to anybody.
I remember I'd come into your room and
I'd
look
have
at your drawings. I'd be like,
yeah,
what are you doing? Why are you not doing something
so I didn't.
more
But at the
aggressive?
time, my self-confidence was at 0 in terms of my artistic ability, which sounds a bit odd now when you see what I'm producing. But at the time, I didn't believe in myself, and so I wasn't drawing.
We thought at the time, like, why? Like, it didn't make sense to us. You've done so well, you're so creative, you know, you've got so much talent. Why are you not having the drive to pursue it?
I think suffering and going through that hard process, pushing yourself, you need that. You just got to kind of persevere and get through the hardships first. I kind of made a decision that, you know, hit rock bottom, and then I was like, all right, either I move forwards or I don't. From then I thought, all right, let me seek help. And then that's when they diagnosed me with Asperger's syndrome. Mild, I would say at the time, but still, because if you don't know something, it can still feel severe. But once you know you've got a particular condition, then you can deal with it. I'd say I always had autistic traits. I don't think I've ever been really far down the autism spectrum, but there's traits, and some of the traits is that focus, being able to kind of pinpoint a particular subject matter that you like, and it's not just art. I always knew there was certain weird habits I had. It sounds quite trivial, but there were certain things like I eat the same food, like baked beans every day.
He never lost his happiness or excitement over baked beans, and we knew that wasn't quite right.
I think you should actually be sponsored by them. I'm not gonna lie to you. The amount of, you know, endorsement he does for Heinz baked beans is unreal. And he was just saying to me yesterday that no matter how many times he's eaten them, every single day, they still taste like the first time he's ever had them.
One of the negatives people don't really realise is the high anxiety of autism. When I got the diagnosis, it was kind of like a eureka moment for me, and I started to be able to kind of control the anxiety and rationalise it and say, this is why you're anxious, because your brain's functioning in a different way, and now the anxiety, although it's there, it's controlled. So I know what I'm doing now. So this is the first portrait I've done, and it looks really rough now, but at the time I was really proud of myself. I was like, oh my God, I can still draw. My mum's impacted me in every way. So, you know, obviously I see my mum as the person that I've always respected. I think she does these little flower drawings, and she's always done this. I always just look at them, they're not your traditional kind of drawings. They're kind of more patterns, but there's still an artistic element to it.
Only I'm proud of his Sikh artwork. Because as I am religious also, I like only religion thing. Then Karpans are not.
What do you want me to change on there, though?
She's very straightforward, and that's a very good trait to have, and it's not very common. She knows what she wants, and in terms of my artwork, that's great.
Diamond is a little small. Make it a little bit big.
So you want me to make the diamond a bit bigger?
Yeah.
When I show my mum, there's nothing like when your mum's appreciative of a particular kind of artwork. If she sees it and doesn't like it, she'll keep on telling me to tweak it, and she's very stubborn as well. So, a bit like me, she won't let it go until I've actually resolved that particular issue. That's actually Guru Gobind Singh Ji, the 10th Guru. He's probably the biggest inspiration for me. I've done lots of drawings of him. Because without him, the Sikhs would not be the way we are, with the turban, with the beard, with the warrior kind of stance. It's all to do with him. Yeah, trying to live by his kind of ethos, which is, you know, defend the weak and live a pious life. I've been a cultural Sikh, so when I say cultural, I mean I wasn't really religious, but I always respected the history because my mum told me, and I always respected, you know, the way the community functions. So I always wanted to be part of the community, but I didn't feel I could be part of the community. Once I started drawing again, and I'd done the Sikh artwork, once I'd done that, I completely reconnected, because then I was kind of invited to exhibit at the temples and do festivals. One of the issues I always had, I don't like busy areas, and unfortunately the temple is always the most busiest place. My anxiety kind of dissipates when I'm talking about my artwork because I'm confident with it.
Yeah, so I had the pictures.
If it was just a social event, I just wouldn't go. I go to my Autism London group once a month. I think without that, I probably wouldn't leave the house apart from going to supermarkets. So that kind of pushes me out of my little comfort zone as well once in a while. Good. I'm just waiting for myself to get to a particular stage, which I'm nearing, and then I'm going to unleash myself on the unsuspecting public.
The main topic today is actually for depression and mental health, and I've done quite a few drawings on mental health and trying to highlight that particular issue. One of the projects that I started last year, which is still ongoing, is actually a project called Faces on the Spectrum. I wanted to kind of break down the stereotypes of what someone with autism looks like. Because when I got diagnosed, one of the reasons I probably didn't get diagnosed is because I had a particular perception of what I thought an autistic person looked like. And so, because I didn't see that in myself, I never really thought about autism being the reason why I had so many problems. So this drawing is called actually Big Boys Do Cry. And I chose a guy that looks quite charismatic, not your normal type of guy that might be crying. And I added the tears into the picture. I just wanted to kind of highlight that, you know, showing your emotion, because the only time I really got better was to go through counselling. One of the things I was always good at when I was younger, and I realised I wasn't depressed when I was younger, was I used to draw all the time. And it's a way for me to escape, you know, the problems of the world. At the moment, I'm content. I keep on saying to people, I don't want to be happy, because when you're happy, then it can be sad. I just want to be on a nice kind of level playing field. I'm kind of like, my artwork is my friend, my wife, and everything, and I just want to kind of concentrate on that one particular aspect, and yeah, it's working out okay at the moment. This is Big Boys Do Cry.
The perfectionist in him now, which could have hindered him in the past, which it had hindered him, now is a positive trait he's got, and it's actually making his work more meaningful, more incredible, because he puts so much heart and soul in every single picture.
It was more about the ear,
For the future, I can't say, because this moment, that moment, future, it's not in our hands. Future is in God's hand.
I've always had this connection with space and exploration. In fact, one of my favourite drawings is the astronaut. One of the things I would love to do is to kind of, hello NASA, is to go to Mars. And I don't really mind, it's a one-way trip. I think if you're ever gonna kind of make a mark and, you know, pass away somewhere, you might as well let it be Mars and not come back. I'll be drawing in zero gravity. Maybe it might improve my skills, I don't know. So yeah, I would 100% take all my artwork and all my equipment. If I was all by myself, it'd be brilliant. You know, someone will find my drawings and my kind of skeleton in a couple of thousand years' time and worship me as some kind of deity, I don't know. And hopefully NASA, if you're listening, you know, build me a spaceship and send me up.
James Monroe.
Hi, my name is Phil. I'm Eitan.
I like to outdoor activities.
I play guitar. I'm looking for a trendy girl.
Are you that woman? Please give me a call.
Hi, I'm Gurj. I'm 41. I'm from London. I'm a profession is my DJing. I like hanging out with friends, going goofing around with my friends and family. Yeah, that's about it, really. And I'm from London. Catch you later. Bye. Looking for someone to settle down with. If you're the one, come see me. See you later. 'Cause I'm parking outside right now. Oh, yeah, finally, done it. See, my family, they said to me, if I've got a full-time job, a decent job, according to them it's decent, anything is decent, but if I've got a decent job, I've got regular income coming in, then yeah, we can find someone for you. Otherwise, they've said to me for the past 22 years, stop DJing, there's nothing in there. But they don't realise how big business this is. Okay, let's sit down. All right, are they hungry? It's gonna be lunchtime. So you need to eat something now. Cheese and toast?
Cookie.
Oh, no, that's too early in the morning. You need proper breakfast.
Banana.
Oh, you can have a banana.
Yeah.
You tell me what you think, Mum. I don't know, Mum. I've been looking for girls and everything, and it hasn't been perfect because one, they keep saying I haven't got a job or anything, right? And I'm looking for someone who understands the situation. Because if we get a secure job, yeah, right, it's not always secure. There you guys. How are you? What's your name?
Jenny.
Jenny, nice. You're cute.
Oh, cheers. That's been nice. Hi.
Hi, Anna. Nice to meet you. Good.
So what do you do?
Good. I do DJing. I like this look.
Yeah.
Smart casual. But when I'm at home, I'm in jeans. Sorry, in my tracksuit bottoms.
Everybody's
I'm comfortable. Yeah, yeah. What kind of hobbies do you into? Or have I already said that one?
Yeah.
Have you got any kids?
No.
No?
No.
What are you looking for in a relationship?
What?
Yeah. If you wanted to get into one, what are you looking for? I've got a 6-year-old daughter, and she needs a little buddy brother or sister to play with. I've tried to play with her, but can't play dolls all the time. Yeah, I'm looking for someone to settle down with, really. Marriage-wise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello?
Hi, it's Amber from Single Cylinders. I
Mhm.
just wanted to let you know that just on this occasion, I'm really sorry that you didn't have any matches.
Yeah.
But please do come back and remember that it's literally the chances of 8 boys, 8 girls, and
Mhm.
there just isn't always matches. So
Yeah.
please don't be disheartened by it.
Got kind of used to it, but yeah, it's fine.
Staring at the empty world, I'm still waiting for your call.
Uncomfortable. Yeah, yeah. Have you got any kids? No? What are you looking for in a relationship? Yeah.
Right.
How did you find that?
It was quite interesting.
You went straight in with what kind of relationship you're looking for.
Hmm.
And she was quite confused.
Yeah.
And then you talked about your daughter.
Yeah.
And you said something about why you want to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
Do you remember what you said?
No, yeah, because I'm looking for someone to settle down to have kids with.
The exact words are, I need a buddy for my daughter.
Yeah.
Could you see a reason why the 3 girls mentioned may not wish to go on a date with you?
Because I've come across as just a comedian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kujit, you're good looking, you sound intelligent, you've got a good sense of humour. And that's great. But when it comes slightly deeper than that, there's something that's missing.
Okay. You're funny, you are.
You are.
Hold my hand.
I'm skipping.
Oh, I'll skip it. Who knows where love can take you? It can take you different routes. Let's see what happens.
My name's Warrior Kaur and I'm 18 years old. Martial arts has become a way of life for me now. It's taught me self-discipline, it's taught me how to live my life confidently, without fear, and it's taught me how to handle almost any situation I come across in life.
Being a Sikh is really important because I think having such a rich history, having that martial arts in the blood, I can read back and look back and listen to the stories. They kind of empower me as well and motivate me to, you know, do better and do well.
Would you like some yoga? Having that background behind me, it's easier for me to go out there and say, this is where I come from and this is what I believe in. My parents have had a really big involvement in my journey and how far I've come. You know, most of the credit goes to them, whether it's just my mum or whether it's just my dad or whether it's both of them.
3 days, 3 uniform. So hand wash uniform, hard for me. My job 24/7. Start in the morning, 7:30. So finish 10 o'clock.
She pretty much does everything for me, you know. My backbone is my mum. My dad, he has played a big role. He's one of them people that's always like picking stuff out at training that I'm not doing right. Sometimes it can be annoying, but I think that's what dads do, don't they?
Obviously, I'm very proud, so is her mother, for what she's achieved. She's always very positive. I've never seen her think in a negative way. She's always, you could say she's optimistic, happy-go-lucky. Her confidence is always sky high.
So these are some of my proudest achievements, my little collection of medals and trophies and pictures. And this is my certificate for getting the 2nd Dan black belt in karate. And some of them are from India, when I did some work with YFC, which is that one up there as well, the Appreciation Award.
When she first started competing in tournaments, competitions, at first we used to be worried about her getting hurt because we could see other kids get hurt. But she just stuck with it and disciplined herself and used the right techniques to avoid being hit and also to attack at the same time. When she actually got to the world level in Malta a couple of years ago, she was actually knocked out cold.
I had like a few seconds, I was out clean on the floor.
We were very scared.
Scared, yeah.
She wasn't moving, she was just laying flat on the ground.
Yeah.
The referee was like, do you want to carry on? And after speaking to my coach, I was like, yeah, let's carry on, let's do it, why not? I don't know what was going through my mind at that point.
And she got to the final and took the silver medal.
Not giving up, that's what was going through my head, I'm not going to give up.
No. Any injuries that I need to know about before we start? Good stuff. Right, going to work you hard today. Stand up.
She was actually approached by GP, Taekwondo Olympic Association.
Long stance, punch. Scissor kick. The first one's to the knee, second one's to the head, shout. Middle block.
I do want to go to the Olympics. I think it is every athlete's possible dream. That's the ultimate destination.
It's going to be too early for the next Tokyo Olympics, but 2024 she's only going to be, what, 23, 24 years old, which is prime time.
He knows it's opposites. Yeah. Show me your jab. Cross. Jab. Cross. Jab, cross. Okay, so when you punch, make sure your thumbs are outside, because then they're not going to break. Okay. For me to have a talent and for me to give it out there and pass it on to other people, it means a lot to me.
There are a lot of young people who are now getting into martial arts, I think especially Sikh girls. I'm a big believer in girl power, but I think we need to push them more and we need to encourage them more.
Not just like taekwondo or kickboxing or karate, but I think anything, just taking up a sport, just encouraging participation and physical activity in sport is really important for me. Ultimately, I want to open my own academy up. I do a bit of work in India with girls, trying to promote the gender equality campaigns there, and I think it's really important. I'm not going to say it's easy, but it's just one of them things where you need patience and you need perseverance, because it is going to happen if you put the hard work in.
This is the Asian Women of Achievement Award. Arlene was the youngest girl or woman to achieve this award, because there were women there who were very successful. We're very proud of her achieving that.
Yeah.
I think she's started embodying her names as and when she feels. It's mainly Harleen and Priya.
Priya means
Love.
Love.
Kaur has a meaning of princess. And Singh means alliance.
I think some people would think there's a lot of pressure on me, but I don't really see it as pressure. I see it as motivation. I think I turn that energy into positive energy and just, just making myself be motivated.
I'm not just doing it for no end goal, I'm doing it for the long run.